Ahli Bank of Kuwait, uh, short form is ABK, actually popularly known as ABK, is probably the fifth or sixth largest bank in Kuwait. We have three countries where we are present: Kuwait, UAE, and Egypt. Egypt is a recent acquisition which we have now merged with ABK. ABK is been around for quite some time, and I think, like most banks, have always wanted to change the system but have been avoiding it. I joined in 2015, about 3.5 years ago, and I think one of the biggest things at that time was that we need to change the core banking system. We were on another vendor system, but it was pretty old, and nobody had changed it. And since ABK had plans to grow, they realized that if you don't change the system, growth is going to be hindered. So we set out on this journey, and as usual, we looked at all the players. Finally, we chose Pinnacle. I think the principal reason we chose Pinnacle was that right from the beginning, they were very forthcoming, they were very clear that they would meet our objectives, and I think the commitment they showed throughout was was one of the important factors which really drew us to them. So we started the journey, and this was early 2016. Today, the journey was something which had the entire suite. So we took Pinnacle core, the channels, the trade, the treasury. So we have the entire suite, and that implementation took us only about 20 months in two countries, both UAE and Kuwait. It was done within the timeline and well within budget. Couldn't have happened without a great effort from both the Pinnacle team and from the team within the bank. Now, the channels we have introduced in all the three countries. So we have Pinnacle in UAE, we have Pinnacle in Egypt, and we have Pinnacle in Kuwait. Even though we do not have the core yet in Egypt, we already have the channels in. Both the retail and the corporate channels are fully implemented, and as I said, mobile banking. So we have all the three in all the three countries. So retail has been extremely successful. We have had huge improvements in our STP. Today we are at close to 99% STP for all the transactions coming through the retail channel. Corporate is a new initiative for us because we didn't have a great corporate system, but today the corporate has cash management, trade, liquidity management, all of this which our customers are now starting to use. And the good news is that there is a large pull from the customers which we didn't see in the past. So now we are in constant discussion with Pinnacle for some of the requirements which our customers are telling us, and we are finding that the response is very positive. This will enable us to further push the corporate initiative very heavily. Going back to retail, we have done some amazing things. We have something which we call Global View, which is unique to us in Kuwait, where if you have an account with us in any of these three countries we are in, you can see your accounts with one login. We can give you statements for any length of time. From the day you open the account, you can look at the statements both on your mobile and on your online without having to go and ask for it in a branch or even having to go to your PC. You can do it on your mobile. We have today instant cash, which is if I need to pay you cash, I can pay it to you through my mobile. We have what we call ABK Pay, where if we went to a restaurant and we have to split the bill, I could ask you to just pay me my part by sending you my details, and you could just send it to me and I would get it instantly. All these have become very popular as the population is a very young population in Kuwait. They are very intrigued by this. And our final goal is to get to a stage where we introduce a digital bank in the next couple of years. Pinnacle Payments is, I think, a very robust and a very flexible system, and it has allowed us to do many innovative things. So one of the things which I mentioned earlier was that we have been able to introduce Ripple, which is a separate network completely, which works on Xcurrent, and we have Swift. We are now, because of the payments module, able to diversify and send payments through either Ripple or through the traditional Swift channels. Also, payments today are very, very well structured, and we can, with the new changes taking place in Swift with the GPI coming in, the adaptation has been very quick. Pinnacle has made it possible, and well within the requirement dates, we were able to roll it out in all our countries. We moved from a traditional system for Treasury to the Pinnacle Treasury, and it was something which hadn't been done before, because typically Treasury systems and card systems are outside the core banking box. That experience has been a good one. It took some time for us to get it working perfectly the way we wanted, but now, a year and a half down the line, it is working very well. The integration is complete, and now as we move forward, we're talking to Pinnacle about making it maybe a little more friendly to the users, to look at ways of, and I'm told that Pinnacle is looking at putting it as a web service. So these are things which they are working on their own. And so far the experience has been a pretty good one. Our experience has been that working with Pinnacle, that it is a company which partners with you and doesn't treat us as a customer, and we don't treat them as a vendor. I think this partnership has worked very well. The benefit has been that our channels are today very, very progressive. We have had at least 50% more intake on our channels. We have taken the Pinnacle mobile banking too, which is doing very well. Kuwait, as you probably would know, is a country which has a fairly large population which is below the age of 30. Most people have at least 2 phones. So the use of mobile is very big. And going with the mobile banking from Pinnacle, we have been able to introduce a lot of new features. Again, today the mobile intake has gone up by something like 40 to 50% in a very short while. So the whole journey has been a very exciting one, and we are now ready to go to the next phase.